Morning, dear friends, and good morning to Pastor D.H. Paul Garu and Madam Vinodini Paul Garu, um, and all my dear friends here. I must firstly congratulate Bhega for taking up a new venture because it's not easy to start something new. To go with all the peace that Christy was talking, I think she's a very powerful woman because God has placed her in a powerful seat. It's not easy with all your hard work, with all your passion that you put in, all the perseverance, finally, without your knowledge, you achieve that power. And you're not aware. You're not aware of your position and how you hold the reins. But then God has given you the gift of being there and still yet coming down to be so humble, to be one amongst everybody. I know Bhega for many years. Recently, one of my close friends, Usha Paul of Aradhana TV, she was telling me, why you don't call her auntie? Because of the age gap between, because Usha and I are of one age. And some time back, somebody asked me the same thing, coming to David Rajana, said, why don't you call him Uncle David Raj? We all call him. I said, it's not respect that I don't have, but by calling by her by name, I feel very close. And I also know that her mindset and my mindset are like friends. So the age doesn't really matter. Even with David Rajaran, it's the same. We think in the same way and we approach people in the same way. There is some kind of closeness. So I always call her as Bhega. I'm sure she never felt upset about it. In fact, we feel very close about it. And sometimes I kind of chide her and tell her, this is not the way or something. And likewise, she tells me too. We correct each other. So it's a very different kind of relationship we share. Dave Rajanan would remember that even from the not only YMCA days, I must talk about the Gideon days also. We were together in the Gideons. We were both auxiliaries. That was the time when I was about to have my second baby. That we were there, and she was seated. Maybe she remembers or not. I don't know. In the YMCA, in that one of those boardrooms where we as NLT would meet all the time. We were seated, and my hands were full of bangles. So that was the first time I saw her. So many bangles, I think from this end to this. And then she and everybody was saying, why so many bangles and you're not taking off? I said, well, I had a prayer and my cousins all put all the bangles. Till I have the baby, I'm not going to remove the bangles. Those days we never thought about cesarean section. So it would be a natural birth, you see. So that's how it was. We from those days till now, we've been good friends. And year by year, we've been great friends. Coming to her professional life, I must say that she's a person who has a vision. When you have a vision, there is something you always want to achieve. And you cannot gauge a person by their age at all. That's what we see. Because vision is something that keeps you going no matter what. My father passed away in 2019, Jan 30th. But on 20th, which was a Sunday, he spoke of his vision for the next 5 years. And it took more than 2 hours to talk about his vision. And finally, I had to go whisper in his ears, it's been 2 hours, you've been speaking. And then he told the entire audience, it was a gathering that we were seated in, he was at the table. Then he told the gathering, this daughter of mine doesn't allow me to speak. She's asking me to stop. Then later, of course, I felt bad because that was the last day he spoke. The next day, he went into a coma and then he passed away. But there are people like this who are full of energy, passion, and vision, and they're always go getters, achievers. She's got so many achievements in her life. I don't think any of us can even imagine how we can be running after various things. You see, when she was married, like she just started off to talk about how she was a 10th grader, 10th pass. Those days 10th pass and BA pass was a great thing. It is, you've achieved intermediate also, it was one achievement about 50 years ago. But then she never let it go by. She did her 10th again here because it was milky rain. Then she did her intermediate and then she did, because she had a baby by then. She went on to do her degree and then post-graduation, and today she's done her doctorate as well. And that too in theological studies. So in fact, God has led her in such a way, kept her safe. We can see God's light upon her. She is a living example for us to see and to learn. And people like her, some people by the time they come to the age of 70 or something will say, I think my body is giving up and I cannot do this or that. Those signs everybody gets. But there are very few people like her who would not even talk about her age. If she's 74 today, many of us, she's running on her 75th, we wouldn't believe it. Because she's not if she's starting a Montessori center today, it is so much, that you should take. Because you need to speak to people, you need to speak to teachers. Yes, Bhega, you need to speak and you have to give them energy. If you don't push them and give them energy, they will not perform. Yeah, like just when we were entering the hall, we thought, oh, we are entering the hall which we entered before. But then what's going to happen here is something totally different. You're going to get teachers coming in who are raw, who do not have any training. Now they will be trained. Youngsters who will just walk in, not knowing what they're going to learn. But Montessori is a training course which is well established for more than 100 years. Started off in England, and then you cannot say, I'm a Montessori trained until and unless you get the certification. So the certifying persons are still in England. The lady who will come and finally give the graduation, the lady who is outside on the poster, when she comes to certify the teachers who are trained in this hall, then they would be the first batch of graduated teachers who will exit as Montessori trained teachers. So it's a great opportunity for youngsters. Those who will come raw, maybe they've just done their 10th, or maybe not 10th, but at least intermediate and degree, right? They will come in here, perhaps, many of them do not have jobs. So she's not only giving a training, she's giving them an opportunity of a technical qualification to get a good job. Because Montessori trained, you don't get many teachers nowadays. You get pre-primary trained, which is a very local trained certificate. Montessori trained is not a local certificate. So that is what, to get a certifying center, to run a course here, and to have batches of students who will pass out from here, in her 75th year, I think she must enter Guinness Book of Records. Isn't it? Because it's not easy. And you're going back to the core now. You're going to where you're building up a child. To the core, that is a 3-year-old, maybe even less than 3-year-old. From there, she doesn't even think that, will I be putting in so much effort again? She's not even thinking about it. She's just prepared for anything because her path and her future, her life, she knows it's in the hand of the Almighty God because He will lead her and guide her. I think if we go on talking, it will take a long time, but then let me stop here. I not only know Bhega so well, I know her husband, I know Christopher Anna very well. He was the warden, I think, in Methodist Boys, and I have principal, and yes, I have very good, memories of him because my mother was principal of St. George's Grammar, and we would go to the next block and see him in the evenings for some discussions and all that. So I remember him. They're all great musicians in that side of the family. And of course, Bhega's daughter, Debbie, is a great musician, singer, and so on. God has blessed your family. You are a unique family, a different family. And God has blessed you, Ignace Paul Garu, and your daughter, Debbie, in a wonderful way. You not only cater to the people within Malakashgiri, but you cater to people all around, many parts of the country and the world as well. Through Montessori, your reach will be more. So may God give you grace to do a lot more, and I commit this program and the coming days into the Almighty's hand. God bless you.